Hi everyone!
Hi, I'm Jen.
And I'm Jane.
And we're SpielMill.
And we're here to share with you more of our top 100.
Woo!
I don't know why.
Bullseye. Wow, what a shot.
Alright, so we're doing our numbers 60 to 51.
Yes, we are indeed. If you haven't already, check out our 100 to 61.
It's hard. Numbers are hard.
Numbers are hard. Yeah, but we're getting into some real good stuff here. So who's starting this time?
It's my turn to start, I guess. Okay. You went first last time. So for number 60 is a game we actually played recently. And it's a really fun party game. Similar to Time's Up, called Monikers.
Yes.
And I just love Monikers. And Monikers, you have a deck of cards. Everyone chooses cards that are going to be part of the mix. And then you go through, and first you go through and you give verbal cues or whatever you want to give as far as clues. And people try to guess the card. And then you can make sound effects and everything. The second time through the deck, you have to give one word clue. And people have to guess, but they've already seen the cards once, so that helps. And the third time through, you do charades. Always ends up with some completely inappropriate gestures by the third round. And it's just fun.
It's so much fun.
We have the serious nonsense one that Shut Up and Sit Down did, and it's just some ludicrous cards.
Yeah.
So, but it's really fun.
Makes it even better.
Yep, makes it even better. So, that's it. That's the game. The designers, Alex Haig and Justin Vickers. Artists are Cecile Gariby and Alex Haig. And I probably butchered that name. I'm sorry, Cecile. And the publisher is CMYK or Palm Court, depending on where you are. So yeah, that's Monikers. And that's my number 60.
Yeah, I really love that game. It always results in hilarity. I mean, people like laughing until you cry. The last time we played was on your birthday, and we were just giggling away. So much fun.
Yep, that's a winner.
Yeah. Well, my number 60 is up 11 from the last time. It was 71, and we've played this one a very lot. I just looked, and all the variations we've played close to 100 times, and that is Railroad Inc.
Wow.
Yeah. This is from...
Another roll right.
Yeah. Hjalmar Hawk, Lorenzo Silva are the designers. Marta Tranquilli is the artist, at least on Deep Blue. And it's from Horrible Guild Games. And we have all the versions. We have all of the expansions, including like the Cthulhu one and...
There's some we haven't played yet?
Yeah, we've got a bunch we haven't played yet, but I really like this game. And not only is this a game that got us through some really shitty times, but it you know, because we played in our chairs, but it's just really fun. You're route building, and there's something really satisfying about connecting routes. Like, that's why so many games do it, right? And this is just a really clever way of making that happen. And again, there's so many different expansions. We've been playing a lot of Lush Green recently, where you're drawing trees on your board. We enjoyed the Cthulhu one. Those tentacles on the board were amazing. So this is a game that you could play. You can literally play endlessly.
Yep.
And we have not gotten tired of it yet. So that's my number 60, Railroad Inc.
All right, good choice. My 59. Now, something I want to say is this is the first time we've done this list in 3 years. We've mentioned this in earlier videos, but in case you haven't seen them. And so Monikers for me had dropped 39 spots since 2020 when we last did it. About 40% of my list is new. That's changed that much over 3 years. Even with the limited game playing I've been able to do. It's pretty fascinating. And this next game also dropped quite a bit, 22 spots.
Oh, wow.
And I already forgot what it was, but it's Isle Sky from Chieftain to King.
Oh, wow.
And this one we haven't played again in a while. So,
yeah,
and I find this one a little complicated to rank because if I were just ranking the base game, I'm not sure it would crack my top 100.
Yeah,
but with
definitely
the Journeyman expansion, boom, top 100 easy.
absolutely.
Like it's so good.
Yeah.
And so it makes a big difference. Now it really complicates it complexifies the game. So if that's not for you, if you're not into really complex games, the Journeyman expansion may not be for you because it really adds
And then you might love the base game.
yeah, it adds a whole level of complexity, but you might love the base game because it has the fun tiling and everything. So it has fun stuff. It's a fun game, don't get me wrong. I'm just talking about top 100. And of course, getting in the top 100 is not an easy thing for games.
Right.
So this is designed by Andreas Pelikan and Alexander Pfister. The design artist is Clemens Franz, and this comes from Lookout Games. So yeah, I mean that's just kind of it. There's tiling, there's kegs, there's what else is there?
Well, I like the ABCD scoring, which this has, which is similar to Cartographers. So,
but this was first. So.
Yeah. So you're drawing out, 4 scoring tiles, and so they're different every game, and then they go A, B, C, D, and you score, A in the first round, or A and B in the first round, B and C in the second, C and D in the third, and A and D in the fourth. And so,
but I think there's 5 rounds in this one.
Yeah, it's
something like that.
Something like that. But I really love that. There's so much strategy involved with when things score and what you're going to focus on in every round, and that becomes just a major element of the gameplay.
It is.
And like you said, with the Journeyman expansion, you've got a whole second board that you're playing on, that you're trying to move on those tracks and get the get perks.
Which I was better at the descriptions of games, but yeah, you're good at it. Yeah. So like the second board and all that.
Right. And you get perks as you go, which I love. I love when you move on a track, you get a prize. You move further on it, you get a better prize. You move on 2, you get 2 prizes. It's dopamine.
So it's really fun, and I definitely recommend. So
yeah, absolutely. This is a good choice.
So that's my number 59, Isle of Skye, from Chieftain to King.
All right. Well, my number 59 is up 3. So really same area from last time. It was 62 last time. And that is 878 Vikings, The Invasions of England. And this is from Bo Beckett, Dave Kimmel, and Jeff Stahl. It's from Academy Games, so it's really one of the games that's designed to be a teaching tool, but also a fun game. And the artist is Alan Ball, Jarek Noken, and Steve Paschal. Sorry. This is an area control game, which isn't usually our jam, but we loved The Last Kingdom. This is the original Last Kingdom board game. And we love the show Vikings. And you actually see characters from both of those in this game. And you've got cards that, give you special powers based on you are, Ragnar Lothbrok, or you are King Ethelfled, or Prince Ethelfled. I can't remember their names now, but you are these characters, and you are invading England if you're playing on the side of the Vikings. If you're playing on the side of the British or the English, which aren't really one kingdom at that point, they're multiple kingdoms. You're defending your area and trying to keep out the Vikings, and it's just a basic area control game. But it is super thematic. I loved both of those TV shows. I'm such a history nut. The cards all have, historic information on them that helps you learn about that period at the same time. It is super flavorful, super thematic, and that's what makes me, okay with the area control in this game. I really love this game. And that is 878 Vikings.
Yeah, it's a good one. And it's a team game, so it's interesting.
Yeah.
But it's hard to get to the table because of that reason.
Yep.
My number 58 is new to the list.
Ooh.
It's a special game for both of us because it also commemorates our wedding day, and that is Bastille,
Yes.
which is in July. But Bastille's a really great board game. I love this game, and it doesn't get a lot of hype.
No, it doesn't get any, and it's so good.
It's very good, though, and I really enjoy it. It's very Euro. You have these shields that are numbered, and the higher the number, the stronger power they are. So that if Jen plays like a 1 shield to an action, and I play a 2 shield, I actually jump her.
Yeah.
And get to do the action first and more powerful. And so, and then there's like, 5 or 6 different actions you could do in the board. One of them switches who's first player and gets you money, and then one gets you cards, and the cards are different
Soldiers.
troops and such, and you want to look for certain groups of troops to get points. And of course, this is all about the storming of the Bastille, the French Revolution. So yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, I also really enjoy this game. That's a great choice. And I don't understand why it doesn't get hype. I think it just sort of, came out in 2018, and I think it just went under the radar. If it misses that blip, if it misses that moment, it goes unknown or unseen. But I highly recommend this. We really enjoy this every time we play. And there's that, like you said, that level of strategy of trying to figure out, like, I really, really need to do this action, but I only have 1 4 shield. Yeah. And if I don't get to do that one first, then I'm just totally screwed. So I've got to try and figure out, like, which action I'm really going to put all my chips in on, so to speak. Yep. And yeah, it's a really good game. Good choice.
Now, I have a question for you, because on BGG here it says it's for 3 to 4 players, but it's not, though. There's a 2-player variant. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know why it says that. So don't be scared away by that, because it does play for 2. So anyway, and the other thing, it's designed by Christopher Bear. The artist is David Cockard, and Queen Games has published it. So that is Bastille, my number 58.
All right.
Again, new to my list.
My number 58 is down 30 from last time. It was 28. Again, a function of just not playing it, I think, in the last 3 years. And that is Underwater Cities by Vladimir Suchy.
Crossover from the last list.
Yep. Art by Oldrim and Milan Vavrov, and published by Delicious Games. So, we talked about this in the last list, but a lot of people called this the Terraforming Mars killer, but because you are building sort of an engine and you're getting cards that help you do that, but it is very different from Terraforming Mars.
It's very unique from
It's very unique, and the action selection system is what kind of sets this apart. And now I can't remember what it is. You were talking about it last time.
So you have different colored cards. And then you have different colored action spaces, I believe it was. And so if you play the same color card or the same colored action space, you get to do both the card action and the action space action.
Yep, that's right. And again, always love that when you're trying to maximize, get the most out of your turn and trying to decide, well, I don't have the card that I would need to do both the card and that action, but I really need to do that action. Do I wait and hope that I get that color card for the next turn, or do I go ahead and bite the bullet and do that one? So that's really interesting. The 3D components are really interesting. The board is really pretty. Yeah, I think we have the deluxe. I think I got you the deluxe
buildings. The domes are so cool.
Yeah, for your birthday one year. So, you're literally building your little underwater city with your 3-dimensional domes, and that's really cool. And I do love an engine builder. It's not as strong of an engine builder, though, as Terraforming Mars. You really just don't end up with the same sort of...
No, that's not its strength.
That's really not its strength, but it does have an element of that, which I like. It's just I would never play this for the engine building. It's not
meant to be the same game.
No, it's definitely not, and it's just not as strong. But it's a really fun game, really satisfying, really pretty, and really puzzly. Really love this game. Underwater Cities. That's my number 58.
Good choice. My number 57 is another new to my list game, because I didn't play it till this last year. Now, this is a game designed for solo play, but we like to play it cooperatively, and that is Final Girl.
Yes.
I don't know why I'm pointing. I'm turning into Roy Canada.
Please don't. I mean, she's very nice, I'm sure.
He's a very nice person. I don't.
She's my lobster.
But anyway, so uh, so Final Girl is designed by Evan Derrick and AJ Porfirio, artist Tyler Johnson and Roland McDonald, and of course published by Van Writing Games. I love this game. It is a bit luck heavy, people. That's the one complaint I see about it, and that's fine. But I don't mind in this game, and I don't mind in solo and cooperative games in general if there's a little more luck.
Yeah.
I don't know why I don't mind it as much, but I don't mind it. Maybe because it's winner loses a team kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's so fun, and I love the different big bads that you can fight, and I love the different heroes that you can play and how everyone's different. So there's a lot of asymmetry going on from game to game. There's variability, so there's a lot of replayability, and you could tell by just how much people are playing, how many people are doing like live playthroughs of this online. You know, like people just really enjoy this game, and we're among them.
Yeah, the art's amazing too. It's so evocative of, you know, the 80s slasher films. This is not on my list because we didn't play it until after I made my list. I think you must have.
I think we were able to do some last minute tweaks, so
yeah,
I was able to just sneak it in.
Yeah, and I don't think I did, but it would be on my list. It'll be on my next list, I think. This is a just wonderful game.
And like I said, we like to play it cooperatively. We just kind of have a like one little rule about like you can't play too many of the base cards so that each player has enough to do.
Yep. This is, and it works. It works great. We've actually found that a lot of solo games we can really successfully play as a co-op and really enjoy them. And that's good because sometimes I travel a lot for work, and so Jane, you know, does play a lot of solo games. But I want to play these games too, and I don't want to play without her. Like I'm never alone. I'm never here by myself looking for a game to play. And so, but I still want to play Final Girl, so it's great that we can play those as a co-op.
Final Girl,
you are the queen
of my world. Anyway, that's my number 57, new to my list, Final Girl.
All right. Well, my number 57 is not new. It is down 43 from the last time. It was 14 on our last list.
Ooh,
what a drop. Precipitous drop. And I think it's because we played it more after I made the last list, which is kind of counterintuitive, but that is Brew Crafters. Now, I love this game.
Wow, can't believe that dropped so far.
Yeah, this is from Ben Rossett, with art by Jackie Davis and Christopher Kirkman.
Matthew Malley's on it? I thought he was on it too.
Not listed.
Okay.
Unless I missed it. And it's from Dice Hate Me Games.
They both did homebrewers together, so maybe Ben just did Brew Crafters.
It's a great game. It's a game about brewing beer. I really, really love it. The base game, though, is for us, I think, a little bit limited. Once we played it a couple times, we kind of hit our wall with it. We understood the strategy. It was very samey. Now, when you add in the expansions, it is top notch. For us, we have to add in the expansions, but it's got, you know, tasting room. You can add a tasting room. You can add a community garden and a farm where you're growing hops and you're growing wheat, and you know, you've got to collect your resources to brew your beer, and there's different beer recipes in each game, which is so thematic and we love so much. And you can put in a barrel aging room, and there's so much going on in this game. It is so highly thematic. It's worker placement, which is one of our favorite mechanisms. So there's just a lot to love about this game.
And before I got sick, we brewed our own beer, so the theme appeals to us in general.
It does. It really does. So, and I'm not sure why it fell. Maybe because I just kind of remember some of the sameness of the games that we didn't add the expansions in. Maybe it's because other games have come into our lives since then.
Come into our lives.
Yes, well, they are my precious. But really, if you like beer and you like board games, this is kind of a must-have. It really is good.
All right, my 56 is new to my list, a third in a row.
All right.
And this one, I'm staring right at it. It's a theme that doesn't necessarily jump out at me, but I love this game, and it's Coloma. This is designed by Johnny Pack. I'll tell you who the artist is. The artist is the Miko. Yeah, I can't say his regular name. And then Final Frontier Games is the publisher. So, really love this game. It's got a neat action selection system. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Underwater Cities in a way, where if you, but slightly different. It's a worker placement on a rondel where everyone places their workers. But you do it in secret, and then you reveal, and then the most visited spot gets its secondary action shut down, and everyone else gets to do the primary and secondary action. So you don't want to be the one going to the most popular spot. And there's a mechanism to do this in 2-player that works pretty well. Probably not as well as a 3 or 4, but it was fun with 2, so I'm not worried about that. But I really like the rondel selection system, action selection system. And then there's a map. You can go and camp out. There's baddies that come to town. You have to put dudes on the map, so to speak, to fight them off, because they're called dudes.
They're literally dudes. You're putting your dudes on your map.
You can go there. I don't know, what was it? You can go down the river or something.
You're building.
You can trade.
Building your town.
There's different things you can do, and you get. I forget what I can visualize the actions. I just can't remember what you're doing. But it feels thematic.
It does.
Enough, and it's Euro, a heavy Euro, and I love it.
Yeah.
So, I can't say enough about this. We didn't try it solo, so I can't speak to that, but it's heavy, but not super heavy. It's right around a 3 on Board Game Geek. And it's about the gold rush, which is the theme is the only thing that doesn't really appeal to me.
Yeah.
So, but it's about a California town, Coloma, which is still around today. And I know because I watched the Brothers Murph and they talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah, and you get buildings, so you're building your town, and those buildings give you extra resources or special powers. So there's that engine building aspect to it, which is always satisfying. You're really looking like to which building you can buy, which one you can afford, but also which one will actually give you the powers that you want to have, that you need to have moving forward.
Yep. So it's very good. And that's my 56. New to my list, Coloma.
All right. My number 56 is new to my list as well. And that is Dinosaur Island.
Ooh.
Yes. By Jonathan Gilmour and Brian Lewis, with art by Kwanchai Moria and Anthony Walken, and from Pandasaurus Games. This is one that passed us by on the Kickstarter. We had no interest in this. I don't know why. It just didn't appeal to us, or we just didn't we didn't back it. It didn't capture our interest, and everybody talked about how much they loved it, and it still didn't really interest us. But we had a board game cafe here in town that opened up, unfortunately, during the pandemic, because then it also shut down. But we were able to rent the game from them, and I think within 2 plays, I was like, we are buying this game. I love it so much.
And then we went on online about the Kickstarter version.
Yeah.
Spent a lot of money.
We got it as an anniversary present for ourselves. That's what I like to say. But this is a game where it's basically Jurassic Park, the board game, but they obviously couldn't call it that. So you're sequencing DNA. You've got to have scientists that are working on getting the DNA parts for the dinosaurs, and once you get them, you can build a dinosaur and you can hatch them. You're trying to build up your park. You of course have to have really good security because you don't want them eating the visitors.
But apparently they can eat the visitors and you still don't go out of business because you must have the world's best insurance.
Yeah, seriously. Not to end PR guy. There's actually a card, which is your PR guy.
That's true.
And he's very helpful because when visitors get eaten, he can help, make the public think, that's pretty cool, I guess. They're real dinosaurs. So
it's their fault. They were just wandering around the park aimlessly.
So I know, again, there's the sort of roll and write version of this and its junior version of this, which we did get. At the end of the day, I really like the big, chunky Dinosaur Island version. I want all the bells and whistles. I want to do the million things and to play the 2-hour game.
I'm down with it.
Yeah. So that is my number 56, Dinosaur Island.
All right. This next game, for me, number 55, has moved up 42 spots.
Wow.
Since the last time we did this. Why? I have no idea. We haven't played it since then. I don't know.
Memories.
Memories are funny how they are. It is a beautiful game, so that probably helps. It helps retain the memories, right? If it's more beautiful, aesthetically pleasing, you're gonna remember that more.
Yeah.
So anyway, this one's also on our to play list in May, and it's Guzhong.
Yes.
So this is a beautiful game where you're trading cards, because you're trading gifts, and because you're not allowed to bribe people or something, which seems like a good rule. But what's the period this is in again? 1400s Ming Dynasty in China. So anyway, so you get the idea, and this is a really beautiful, fun game.
Yeah, it is.
I just really enjoy it, and hence it had staying power in my head. So it said, I'm staying there and I'm climbing up, even though I have all these new games on my list and everything.
Yeah, I really look forward to getting this back to the table. It dropped on my, I had the opposite experience. It dropped on my list because we haven't played it in the last couple years. It was very, very high. I suspect once we play it again, it'll shoot right back up, because was a game I found really exciting. And we have the expansion we've got to put into play, so.
We do.
Yeah.
So my number 55 is Guzhong.
All right. Well,
from Game Brewer.
My number 55 is new to the list, and it is Foothills, which is the 2-player version of Snowdonia. It is, and I mentioned this, I think, for one of our holidays, because it's set in Wales. It's basically, you're building a railroad in Wales. You've got to clear the rubble or clear like rocks so that you can build the railroad and extend your line. And so you're like taking rubble off the tracks and stuff like that. What's really neat about this, I think, is the action selection. So you've got cards. You've got, I think, A, B, C, and D cards. And they're two-sided, right? And so one side is going to be really good, but when you use it, you've got to flip it. And then that side is less attractive, but you've got to use it again to flip it unless you can get the special power, which is just such a neat way to balance a game so that you're not just always like just doing the good thing every time. And you can get new cards from the market that can replace the original cards that are maybe even a little stronger. Yeah, you're building out your route, so you can end up sharing a route. So the lines are fixed; they're not yours. They're the lines, and so we can both end up contributing to that line, and I can start a line, and if Jane finishes it and ends up with more cars in it, then she's going to score more points, and she's going to end up really benefiting from that more than me. And so, you know, there's always that tension of, do I want to clear this? Is she then going to build there and scoop me, or can I do both things at once to kind of secure my position? But then again, she's running away with the line down there, and that one is so much more points. And so there's just that lot of tension. This is really well balanced for 2 players. Yeah, and so this is really well balanced for 2 players. It's got the appropriate amount of tension in it. And we've never played Snowdonia, but I don't need to. I love Foothills. I think it's so much fun.
I think it's basically the same game, but set up for 2 players. So
yeah,
it should fill that niche.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, so that's my number 55, Foothills.
Good choice. Okay, my number 54 is not new to the list. It dropped 3 spots. So it was 51 last time in 2020. And this is a game, it is a story-based game called Above and Below. An adventure game, so to speak. It's from Lion Locket. Ryan also did the art. And Red Raven Games is the publisher, which is Ryan Lockett's publishing company. And yeah, I mean, we haven't played Sleeping Gods. We have Now or Never, but haven't played it yet, I think. Which ones do we have? We have a couple of them that we haven't played yet. So, so far, we have Above and Below, and we love it.
Yes.
So, and that's what it is. It's kind of like a choose your own adventure kind of game in a lot of ways. You know, you got choices, and you do with them what you will. If you make a good choice, you get a good result. And there's resources and stuff, and you got your little town that you're managing. Your figures and stuff, so it's fun.
And you can build above and below.
You can build above and below.
And if you look to your left, you will see near and far.
Now or never.
Now, oh, you're right. All right, never mind.
But it is near, and it's far from near far. But it is now. Hopefully not or never.
Hopefully not never, yeah.
This needs to get on our... We didn't put Sleeping Gods or Now or Never on that playlist.
Or Whistle Mountain, which I'm looking at right now, and I want to play. So.
Ooh, we're going to have to add more months to our...
November and December we could do again.
October's spoken for from Goose Spooky Games.
Yeah, I think everything is spoken for between June and October. But anyway.
September we can mix up.
We'll see. Yeah,
we can mix up September. Because it'd be nice to knock as many off our shelf of opportunity as possible. So anyway, Above and Below, fantastic game from Ryan Lockett. I don't need to speak too much about it. It's well known to be a fantastic game. Just trust me on it. And it is my number 54, down 3 slots from 2020.
All right. Well, my number 54 is up 2 slots from 2020. It was number 56 before, and that is Village. And so Village. I don't know. I wrote Village. I think it's just Village in
Is it just Village? Okay.
Yeah.
This
game, it's a worker placement game. It's a typical Euro game. What I think is so clever about this is you've got your I don't know, theoretically medieval village that you're kind of building up, but people die. And I think that's really clever. And you're filling out your cemetery and you're filling out your lore book with your dead relatives. And when it fills up, you get perks for some of the early ones, but then when it fills up, the game is over. And I just think that's really clever for all of the, the civ building games or the, community development games or anything like that. They all seem sort of abstracted out of time, and like the passage of time. And for me, that was just such a clever thing in this game, was that, it's over several generations that this town is developing. And so that is from Inca and Marcus Brandt. It makes their name.
Also known as Incas.
The artist is Dennis Lohausen, and the publisher is Eggert Spiel. And this is just a great game.
Inca and Marcus have done a lot of good games.
Yeah, they really have. And this is a good one.
All right. My number 53 is a game new to my list. It is a cooperative deduction game called Paint the Roses.
Oh, nice.
And I just really enjoyed this game. It's kind of, you're trying to deduce each other's cards. You draw these cards, and there's little tiles on the board, and you lay down a tile. It either has matching flowers or
colors.
And depending on when you lay the tile down, depending on how many matching flowers and colors, you put on cubes on adjacent tiles. And that's information you're giving the other players so they can deduce what your card is.
Yeah.
And that's the game. And you're trying to do it aggressively enough and well enough that you do not get caught by the Queen of Roses, who's chasing you for some reason. She's bored. And she's chasing you.
Well, she's the Queen of Hearts. She's an evil wench.
Queen of Hearts, yeah.
That's what she does.
That's what she does.
She chases.
So
Yeah.
she chases for some reason. And, you know, whatever.
Yeah, one of the things I really like about this game is you don't often see a lot of deduction games that are this pretty.
Yeah.
And
Production of this is fantastic.
oh my god, the production is so good. But it's beautiful, and you know, the theme is kind of unique for a deduction game. So I think it has a really special place in that genre.
And I'll say, like, this is North Star Game Studios, and the production on Oceans was spectacular, and I believe that was them. They've done some really nice productions. The designer on this, by the way, is Ben Goldman, and the artist is Jackie Davis and Naomi Stanton Gulak. So they did a wonderful job.
Yeah, they did. This is a looker.
So
good game.
All right. My number 53, Paint the Roses.
All right. My number 53 is down 9 spots. It was 44 in 2020. So that's not too big of a dip. And it is Lowlands. Designed by Claudia Partenheimer and Ralph Partenheimer, not Uwe Rosenberg, which is always a surprise because it's a very Uwe-like game.
It is.
And good for them, because that is one of our favorite types of games. You are, you know, farming, you're sheep farming in particular. But it has this really clever mechanism, is that it happens in, where does it take place? Well, the lowlands of, like, outside of Amsterdam, right? The Netherlands, I assume, because
I think so.
You're worried about flooding.
Yep.
Right? And you have to build the dike. And if you don't build the dike high enough, then you're going to get flooded out. Your sheep are going to die. Your crops are going to die. And you are not winning that game. The other thing is that the dike building is cooperative. Everybody's working on building the dike. And if you don't put your share into, or your share of effort into building that dike, then you actually don't get the sort of the benefits that of putting in your time to contribute to the community. And so that's a balance again, because really you're not going to score off of that. You're going to score off of your sheep, right? So you have to kind of take away from your time building towards scoring in order to contribute to the community, and in order to make sure that the dike is high enough so your sheep don't drown. And that is, again, just a very, very thematic and very clever mechanism. And those pieces are they're three-dimensional, very tactile. They're basically wooden blocks you're building up, which is just, love it. So good. So, and that is, I mentioned the designers, but the artist is Andrea Bokoff, and it's from Furland Spiel. This is one, if you like Uwe games, I highly recommend this. This is really just a great, really fun game. That's my number 53, Lowlands.
My 52 is another one new to my list. So that's 5 in the set. This one, I want to spill the jar, and it is about the Cascadia. The Cascades in the Pacific Northwest. It is Cascadia. So it is a lovely tile laying game. You're just laying tiles. You're drafting tiles with tokens. You're laying tiles and playing tokens on them and trying to get as many points as possible based on 5 scoring conditions, which are based on the habitat of bear, elk, hawks, fox, and salmon.
Yeah.
And that's it. You kind of do that. And it's a very relaxed game. It's like, it's got the intensity of strategy, but the very relaxed feel to it, which I think helps its popularity a lot. But yeah, I really enjoy this game, and it's my 52.
One of the things I like about this too is that when you take the tile, so on your turn you take both a landscape tile and then an animal. And the landscape tile, when you place it, it does not have to be next to the same type of landscape. Like you can put mountain next to water. But it should be, exactly. So you do score for your largest contiguous area of that type. But the fact that it doesn't have to be, it's just a really interesting twist on tile laying. Yeah. Again, I find myself with that, to me, is an interesting choice. There's a tension there. Am I going to work on making my largest water area bigger? Or am I going to put this down there where it really need to have a hawk
Yeah,
you know?
it's tough.
And so
Choices are tough to make.
yeah. So it is
in
very,
life.
they are indeed. It is very relaxed, but there's a lot of interesting choices in this game.
It's not without interesting strategic options. So
Exactly.
the fact that it balances the two, like a relaxed feeling with the strategic depth,
is part of its charm.
Is part of its success.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
So yeah, so that's Cascadia. It's designed by Randy Flynn, artist Beth Sobel, one of my favorite artists, and it's from Flat Out Games.
All right.
My 52.
Lovely. Well, my number 52 is also new to the list. And it is not by Claudia Partenheimer and Ralph Partenheimer, but it is by Uwe Rosenberg, and that is Glass Road. The artist on this is Dennis Lohausen, and this is also from Furlander Spiel. So same publisher as Lowland. This is one of the lighter Uwe games. It's not super light, but it's lighter than, Agricola, for example. But there are two things in this game that I think are really clever. So first of all, it's historic. It's actually based on the historic stretch in Bavaria where there were a lot of traditional glassmakers. My parents actually collected paperweights that originated in that area as well. And it's based on that like historic stretch where people were making glass. But what's clever is the action selection is everybody has a hand of cards that's exactly the same. I think there's 15 maybe workers. And then you choose which ones. You choose a hand of 5 specialists that you're going to use in any given round, I think. And those are what you play. That's like your action selections. You pick one of those cards to play. And it gives you resources and it gives you special abilities. And so what you're going to do is really determined by how you construct that hand of cards. And then it also has these 2 wheels, these production wheels with a spinner in it. It's not a spinner, but like a moving indicator. And as that moves, it's going to change what you're producing and sort of increase what you're producing. And it's very thematic because you start with maybe just like you start with sand, right? You can't produce glass at first. You can only produce like the basic resources
the wheel's
that
super
you need.
Clever.
Yeah, in order to make the glass and the bricks ultimately. And so both of those things I think are really unique, and they're kind of unlike most of Uwe's other games. It's not something that I've seen in that I can think of.
One of the other games picked up on that resource wheel.
Okay.
I can't remember what right now.
Yeah, me neither.
Was it Hallertau? No,
Hallertau had the moving.
Which is also cool.
Which is also super cool. As I was saying this, I was remembering the Hallertau thing. I'm just thinking, God, what a really clever designer he is. His games they have a feel to them, right? But they're very different, and there's something kind of really unique and clever about each of his games. So that's why Glass Road is my number 52, and I think it's only going to climb.
Okay, so that brings us to our 51s. My number 51 is not new to the list. It dropped 9 spots. Now this game is one of our most played games.
Okay.
And I don't know what else to say about it. We've played it over 80 times, and it's Notre Dame.
Oh, wow.
So it's my 51 is Notre Dame. And Notre Dame's a Stefan Feld game. It is fantastic. It's point salad. You're trying to do different things to get as many points as possible. It's published by Ravensburger. The artist is Harold Lieske. And so you can you're trying to balance out. You're fighting off the plague rats from getting too strong. If you bust on the plague track, you lose points and stuff. And then you try to go to the bank to get money. You try to go to we call it the point factory. I can't even remember what it's called, to get points. There's a carriage you can go to, and with the carriage you get either points. Usually get points, but maybe you might go down on the rat scale. You might get a gold piece. You can go to the hotel, get gold, or go down on the rat scale. You can go to the park and get extra points, also drop on the rat scale. There's also a place you can go to get additional cubes. So your cube resource is a very limited resource. And then it has these, what are they called? The objective cards. The monks and such. They're
people you hire, right?
the people you hire, but what are they called? I don't know. But so you can hire these people at the end of each round. And when you hire them, they have special abilities. And so you get to get those abilities. And they're just simple one-time abilities. Like sometimes it's just get gold and resources or something. Other times it'll be like you get points. You get to double your points right now in the game. That's a good one. You know, so there's different good ones like that. And it's card drafting is the main game mechanism. And I love card drafting. So it's got a little bit of everything going on.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, I can tell you every single action in this game. I could probably tell you every single card.
We've played it over 80 times.
We've played it over 80 times. I am not tired of this game.
No.
And the strategy, when you play something so much, either it's going to be the same every time, or the strategy is going to vary tremendously based on what cards come out. And the more
oddly, we find ourselves going up and down.
Yeah, the deeper you get into something, the deeper you get into this game, I think, the more you understand what sort of like different strategies are. And I'm not tired of this game at all. I would play it right now if you put it in front of me. Happily.
It's a good one.
Yeah, it is a really good one.
So that's my number 51, Notre Dame.
All right. Well, my number 51 is new to this list, and it's a crossover from this list.
Ooh.
It's Cascadia.
Oh, whoa, that's like almost right under the nose.
Yeah.
My 52.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we really said pretty much everything I want to say about this game. The only thing I would add is that this is a game that as, you know, as seasoned gamers, we love this, and you can see it's very popular amongst gamers. But our friends that aren't really into heavy games, they also really love it.
Yeah, because it's not a heavy game. It's a good gateway game. And I love this game. I love the theme. I'm a big fan of nature and the Cascades. I have friends who worked on doing conservation efforts in the Cascades. So
yeah,
that's what we're going to call it. And I don't know.
Yeah, it's very...
And protection, you know.
Yeah. It's very... It has a broad appeal to it. I really love this game.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's a winner.
Yeah,
all right. That's our 51 to 60. So hopefully you've enjoyed that and enjoying this list. Yeah. We have 50 to go. We're halfway there.
We are indeed. Let us know if some of these games sound exciting and you want to play them, or what you would what you like and what you don't like.
Yep. And love to hear your top. I don't know. Never mind. I don't know what I was going to say. So.
Your top 50, your top 100, put it below. I want to see the whole list.
Just remember, every day that you game
is a holiday.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.